Yet
Alright,
again.
I had to do this, but it's pretty obvious that we don't have any sound on stream. What's wrong, Pinky?
It's all good.
Yeah, I can hear you. Alright, cool.
Looks like we have had those technical difficulties fixed. MAWF Black taking the first one to a close from Cascade, almost able to grip it back in that second round. What did you think of the retake there by MAWF Black, John?
I think you know, Cascade definitely, considering they were against the odds, they rotated odds fairly well. It's unfortunate that I think Blur definitely showed up, and it just came down to the story of the tank rotations just being a little bit more cleaner than Cascade, and it definitely noticed some communication concerns on both ends. But I think MAWF Black punished Cascade's mistakes a lot more sooner than Cascade could. But I'm very impressed with Blur actually. Coming into this, you know, I was keeping an eye on Zetzel and Shrewds, being, you know, one of the standout players for respective teams. But Blur is definitely doing a lot of work on his tracer, and I think going throughout this match, keep an eye on that comfort pick, because I think MAWF Black need to be playing to that tracer pick, otherwise.
Well, he
Cascade might be able
certainly
to match that.
is not disappointing on that tracer.
Yeah.
It looks like Cascade here opting for Rialto. So this is going to be interesting, crawling through these streets. I don't know if the tracer is going to work as well on Rialto, but let's see what the picks here are for MAWF and Cascade. Venom going with his comfort Zenyatta. He played the Transcendence extremely well last round. Seems like Frosty Heart is going to be sticking to that Winston. Blur on a Torb. I think this is just a fill for time, but having a look at our defending side, Cascade opting for that Reinhardt again, Kairu on the Ana, Zephyr with Diva, Astro again. Let's see, he's not going to be able to pull off as good boops this round, but he might be able to take someone for a splash and send them in the water. Denik switching off that Brigitte, opting for the Hanzo, and Zettel going with the Sombra. Oh, I stand corrected. The Widow.
I think Cascade here are very comfortable on the Ryan Diva, as we saw from last map. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Oh, no, never mind. I got debated. Zephyr going back to Zarya. I think this is a fairly standard comp from both sides. I think hopefully we see... Actually, we got Winston and Hammond team composition. That's really strange. First time seeing this combination with Brig and Sombra. Let's see how they make it work.
Seems quite unorthodox. Maybe if they don't play right, they might not have the follow-up to go with Blur's EMP if he gets
keep an eye on Blur. Keep an eye on Blur to see if he sets up those, and we see if they can coordinate it.
If they can follow up, this could be quite well. I was scared there for a second. I saw someone on Cascade picking the Bastion, getting the payload rolling as the gates open. Blur behind there, just completely in the back lane, unnoticed. MAWF Black holding rather back, taking the high ground, taking a lesson from Obi-Wan. Blur here engaging Zettel. Can he get the pick? First blood?
No, he could not.
Saved by Zephyr there with that personal bubble. Let's see if MAWF Black drop down here. We got the Zenyatta and the Ana chilling the backline, healing their supports. Up the top, Fink, Frosty Heart, and Shredex. Let's drop down, get some of that congestion on there. Frosty Heart managing to find Zenex. Zettel training for Shredex. Frosty Heart punishing that backline. There's three of them out there by themselves. A sleep dart come down on Fink, taking a little nap. Seems like Cascade going to be falling back, getting coordinated and regrouping. Looks like next fight, no big ultimates coming up.
Let's keep this moving.
Well, we can see that what MAWF Black are trying to do. They're getting Blur to get on the backline here, and they're just scouting, and then they're going to dive on the same target once the hack goes off. But it's interesting to see Blur needs to get into that reposition after that first initial frag. So we see Zetzel as the target. They're not committing to that.
Grapple walking away, being stunned by Shredex, managing to take him down. Zephyr with a personal bubble. Seems like MAWF Black caught a little with their pants then, but I wouldn't say so. Here comes the Nano. On Filthy Elf.
EMP is coming up.
Not nearby anybody. EMP up for Blur. Let's see if he can jump down from the top.
Yeah.
manage if you can get anything. If MAWF Black can follow up, another pause coming down.
Oh,
For
I
MAWF
think that
Black,
was
seems
I
like
think that was the automatic
Shredux is
pause.
disconnected.
That's unlucky.
That seems unlucky. What could be going on here?
So I think that's an automatic pause.
For their disappointment. Let's hope he can get back soon and get the action going. By the looks of it, Filthy Elf here with his Earth Shatter. MAWF Black don't have any shields except for that Winston bubble. If they get caught with their pants down, they could be a big shatter and they could easily take this first point.
Gonna see if Blur's literally he's on payload right now. I don't hope he doesn't use EMP right here. Interesting. Okay, now that Shrewd's is disconnected, I don't think they're going to recontest. They should be setting up for the next one.
And Fink is down as well. I don't think he's going to be able to get back from spawn.
Yep.
So I think Cascade here are going to take the first point. Shredux reconnecting. Coming up with the Dragon Strike. But Zephyr here, not much charge on the Zyra. Hopefully he can build up. And I don't think Denix will hold on to that Dragon Strike until Zephyr's built him, just for that combination.
Let's get back into it.
Alright, back into the action. Graviton Surge. Just spoke too soon. Dragon Strike follow up.
Sleep. Go just turned on Blur. That's really unlucky.
Filthy Elf
At that point,
getting the Fire Strike on Venom. Cascade bumping the timer up to 4 minutes 30. Seems like they are going to bound ahead. See if they can catch anyone with their pants down. I hope so.
And so we have Cascade here making some space. Blur's going on the backside. He's looking for that AMP. He's scouting.
Scouting backwards, forwards, running behind enemy lines.
What a
It's
pick by
taken
Zetzel.
down.
That is
Zeedle
the
absolutely
right
denying that EMP combination. That's going to be punishing Denix and an Earth Shatter coming down with no Venom and Blur down. This could be dangerous and they're just going to get free mileage. MAWF Black having a fallback Sonic Arrow. Finding where Nezzy is. Shredux falling back as well, regrouping, repositioning. Hopefully he gets to use the EMP this fight. Zeedle, he could counteract it though. If he uses his walls, he'll know where Sombra is creeping around. Here we go, like I said. There we go, caught Blur. Mid-visor. Frosty Heart jumping up top, going for that Hanzo pick. Here comes Hammond.
The EMP goes out here. Shrews was in the back lane. He's a Genji. I think he's been there for a while. I think this should be a clean win. Just as I say that, Blue goes down. For MAWF Black. That is a very good result, but I think they committed EMP there. And I think we've got Trance up now. Yep.
Trans up for MAWF Black. Zeedle switching it over for the Pharah. No mercy but Diana, so Kyrie's got to really hit his shots if they do want to have aerial superiority. Chilling on the stairwell, sorry. Venom with Transcendence. This could be good for them. They do have Break It Down and that Dragon Strike. Here comes the Dragon Strike right down mid. Let's see if he can catch anyone. Doesn't look like he can. Looks like Blur back on the Tracer here instead of dropping that Sombra. It means they do not have a hit scan, so it may be a lot easier for Zeedle to keep air superiority. Filthy Elf taking down Fink. Fink also being correction. Zeedle taking down Blur.
Shrews is still alive somehow. he was alive for a while. Him and Blur were just messing around the back lane. Finally killed him. We have a re-engage here. Fink is just spinning around the payload like a Hammond should be doing most of the time.
Spinning to win. Earth Shatter coming down, managing to find Nessie. Zephyr punishing Frostheart whilst he's taking a break on the ground. Danix not finding one but two. Sonic correction. Rapid fire taking down Hammond. This could be dangerous here. MAWF Black with 5 ultimates to Cascade's 4. But they do have that Graviton Surge and Arrow Strike and Dragon Strike, combination. But this could be counteracted by ZNM's Transcendence. This minefield in this archway though, if it is put down by Fink, here it comes, like I said, that would be punishing in that corridor. Let's see. Cascade managing to hit with a pulse bomb. Not enough to follow him down. Dragon Blade. Counteracted by Transcendence. Shredix managing to find Zephyr. Not one but two taking out Denix as well. MAWF Black looking quite strong here for the defense.
Yeah, this part of the map is very hard to push through. So I think for Cascade, it's going to be very hard for them. It's going to be such a challenge, getting past this if MAWF can successfully rotate ults. But I think they got Ryan Shadow and Barrage coming up, so I think that's an opportunity for them to break past this front line.
Yeah,
Let's just see if they can fully utilize it.
No mines from Hammond anymore. He's not going to be able to make as much space. Earth Shadow coming down, catching Nezzy. Let's see if Filthy Elf can follow up and take him down. Doesn't look like it. Blur managing to punish Filthy Elf. Rocket Barrage coming down. Not one, but two. Getting reflected from Shredix, taking down Zeedle. Astro managing to finish him off with a right click. Looks like it's going to be punishment here. Cascade managing to take down Zephyr, doing excellent work there of punishing Blur. Just those right clicks, devastating with the Tracer, especially when he did not have that recoil for the last push here. Blur does have his Pulse Bomb and Zenom close to Transcendence. Let's see if they can work anything here. But Dennis with the Dragon Strike, if he puts that into their spawn, might stop it. Coming back down here, Frosty Heart contesting, catching them behind. Zeedle here, opting for a McCree instead of that Pharah. I think he's doing quite excellent work. Maybe he was a bit turned off by that reflect. Pulse Bomb coming down from Blur, managing to catch Filthy Egg. Shredix taking down Astro. Fink and Blur takes another one. Zeedle finally getting the shot onto Shredix. And Blur just really doing excellent work here. Punish them. He's really being a thorn in their side. Nessie here with the sound barrier. And Transcendence. Another blade here from Shredix. Let's hope if he can catch them all in that alley there, he will be able to clean up.
Astra's Lucio beat right here is going to be huge. If he can deny Shrewd's Dragon Blade and then, re-engage with a support ult of theirs, I think they can hold pretty well here.
I'm hoping they start with the Transcendence and then follow up. Hopefully they don't pop them at the same time. Here comes the Sound Barrier and the Dragon Strike. It's big. Blur in the back line. Playing behind. See if you can take out Raikou or Zeedle. Not even paying attention. Let's see if you can pick him off Shredix as well. Opting to try and take out Zeedle in the back line. Blur taking out Karu, punishing them. They weren't really paying attention back there. Flashbang comes down, doesn't connect. Venom finishing him off with the orbs. Filthy Elf getting a fire strike onto two members of MAWF Black. Denix finding Zenom. Not only that, but Nezzy both supports down. They do have the spawn advantage here.
Zephyr's got grab. He can close this out really easily right now if he just gets a really good grab off. Shrewds with the blade.
Managing to take out Zenix. Transcendence coming down for Venom. Frosty Heart. Primal Rage. That Graviton Surge finding 1, 2, 3, 4 being sucked in, but no follow up there. This is going to be very close. It looks like MAWF Black could hold on to this, taking down Zeedle. And over time, the clock has ran out. MAWF Black there, doing excellent work of holding it. Yet again, as we saw in Lijiang Tower, Blur going to that back line, finding their supports, just being a thorn in their side. Even with the Creed, the flashbang couldn't connect. Let's switch sides and see if they can learn their lessons.
I think MAWF are very lucky that they won the first initial fight at that point when I said it was most difficult, because the Filthy Elf only got one, and that was Nezzy in the Earth Shadow. And I don't even think Nezzy died. If he did, it was like the last second of when he was stunned. And then I think it was Zetzel, released a barrage in the open. So it's quite they're quite lucky that they won that. They shouldn't have. And I think MAWF should have at least punched that a little bit easier.
And initially for Cascade there, I was a little skeptical of Denux playing Hanzo with no real synergy to go with his team, but I did stand corrected, managing to find MAWF Black's supports out multiple times, punishing them with not only a Sonic Arrow, as well as that Rapid Fire, running the similar composition as last time. Filthy Earth doing work on that Reinhardt. Same support for Kyrie with the Anna, doing his work, giving Filthy Elf that nano a lot of the times. Astra with the Lucio, and Denix going back to that Brigitte. And for MAWF Black, running similarly Frosty Heart with the Winston, Venom with the Symmetra. I'm not sure if this is a troll pick, but it could be interesting. Blur coming down with the Tracer. Hopefully he can sneak around into the side alleys and manage to find Denix or Astra, punishing them for their positioning. Unlike MAWF Black here, not taking the high ground approach, looking to contest him at this first corner here.
So pretty standard dive. Actually, no, I take that back until I saw the Hammond. I think they're just going to be pushing the payload for now. I think I want to keep an eye on Zephyr here. He needs to play big here because he's up against Blur and Shrewd at the same time to protect his backline. I think he's going to be critical in these team fights.
Kairu and Zeedle, they know that Blur's going to be lurking around somewhere, hiding
the flank.
all the way back near the point. And like I said, that Genji, that Tracer, here they come. They're coming for them.
Look at the
Creeping
flank.
around the
Yeah,
top.
Kairu's been spotted out. If they can finish the kill there, it'll be huge. Chooses no dash.
The ult here abandoned by his team. His Kairu's distracted by that Genji and Tracer. Zeedle trying to get a pick from the backline, manages to punish Blur for being out of position whilst he's on top. Seems like Cascade here punishing them for their positioning. I think that was partly due to Blur and Shreddax not being able to take down Kairu fast enough.
I think Frosty and Fink needed to play a little bit more aggressive there because both DPS were on the Ana for a little bit too long without any support. So a little bit of frontline pressure would have probably helped them a little bit. Not sure if it would have swayed the fight, but definitely an impact.
Frosty Hunt and Fink there, we're trying to take down Nanoff, but I don't think they could do it fast enough. That would have been a good pick there. You can see in the back line here. Shreddax managed to sneak around back, trying to get that Ana flank. Fire strike connection with Blur. That is absolutely insane, managing to hit that. That slash, getting a good trade there, taking out Zeedle, followed up by Ben and taking him out. Let's see, playing real deep here by MAWF Black. Managing to punish Nessie. Zephyr managing to catch him off guard. Hammond in the backline all by himself with no supports, falling to Kairu. I think Venom's going to be in a bit of trouble here, being chased down by Zephyr.
Kairu's playing very smart. He knows that he's the target on their dive, so he's very aware and he's well positioned, playing very passive, and you can tell he's communicating with Zephyr when he needs the peels, which is very good.
Zephyr there with the defense matrix, really saving his bacon a few times. Shreddax going for a bit of a dip. This could be a stagger here. 1 minute 35 on the clock. MAWF Black here. They do have that pulse bomb and that blade. Fink with the minefield, but if they use the nano on Filthy Elf and he gets a good shatter, this could really negate their combination here. But no real defensive ultimates for Cascade, so if they play this blade right, this could be punishing. Here comes the minefield, Dragon Blade. Earth Shatter not connecting with Shreddax. Shreddax punishing him for that. That was a mishap by Filthy Elf there, managing not to catch anyone. This is going to be a cleanup of D-Mech and Zephyr being punished for that.
It's unfortunate that Astra didn't have beat there. If he had it, I reckon they would have had a really good chance of winning that because Blade and Frosty was doing a lot of damage there. They go playing very aggressive here. Really good make space so they don't recontest.
And they're worn down. There's going to be free reign for this Winston and this Hammond just to jump in the back line and make some space. I spoke too soon. Fink being taken down by Zeedle. Frosty Heart seeing if he can get any of those squishies back there. Astra killing Blur. And Denix, I think MAWF Black went a little too aggressive there and got turned on by Cascade.
Yeah, they pushed up too far and they weren't necessarily punishing that.
Last fight there, they did burn a few ultimates. Filthy Elf with no Earth Shatter. MAWF Black coming up with the Primal Rage Minefield, as well as the Valkyrie and Transcendence. A good defensive ultimate there to counteract the Diva Bomb, if that does go off, as well as the Tac Visor, which is currently building. Let's see if he can make any plays with that, as they do have a lot of squishies. And no Shield Dragon Blade coming out from Shreddax.
What a stun from Denex on Shrewds. Definitely influenced his blade there and wasn't able to be as effective. We have the minefield going down, zoning temporarily. The res off in Van Ham. He's got trance here, it's going to be pretty big to Zetzel's Visor. Let's see if Zetzel pops it. Denex goes down, there goes Visor.
Tac Visor, Transcendence, and Dragon Strike coming down. Frosty Heart punishing Zeedle. That Transcendence doing work there to keep him alive and punishing him. But a grenade landing on Fink. But Nessie is going to keep him alive. Zephyr going up top. Building onto him quite quickly. Seems like Hammond coming down here. Let's see if he can drop on top of them. Frosty Heart pushing really far back. Nana coming out on Filthy Elf. But an excellent kite backwards there from Fink, saying, "You are not touching me today, Filthy Elf." No shield tanks here, so it looks like MAWF Black are going to have to fall back and regroup. Hammond behind enemy lines with that minefield. Shreddax up top with the deflect. MAWF Black not really going with a full engage, falling back here, waiting for their team to regroup. They do have Primal Rage here as well as that Blade up again and close to Valkyrie. Filthy Elf with the Earth Shadow. Let's see if we can get a bigger one than last time and make it work for Cascade.
Both Blur and Shrewd's ult are online. He goes in, the deep dive there. Kairu's being the target. But he actually got armored by the Brig. Gaze actually gave him a couple more seconds to survive. But that's very unlucky, they still lost it.
Insane cleanup by Fink there with that minefield managing
At
to
the
get
cost
Zephyr.
of 3 ultimates. 4 ultimates though, I believe.
That was costly.
Yes. They still have Shatter up.
I'm glad Cascade, Filthy Elf, did not make the mistake of using his Earth Shadow with no return. With only the Primal Rage and close to Transcendence here. Blur up ahead. He might get caught out by the Brigitte. With that amp it up Zephyr, managing to catching Blur. Rally coming out, giving the team a bit of speed, a bit of armor. Filthy Elf swinging the hammer.
Frosty didn't pop it. He didn't pop the Primal. That is very interesting. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or if he misjudged the time he would die. But we have Cascade, got Shatter, Diva Bomb, Lucio V, and coming up onto Nano. So
I don't think Frosty Heart would have wanted to use that Primal Rage there. He was far behind enemy lines with no teams to back him up. Instead, we're just chilling there with a Sombra. No, not getting close to EMP just yet. Zephyr building up the Diva Bomb. Vanna managed to get an orb down on Astra. Earth Shadow coming down as well as Diva Bomb. Big Shadow. Diva Bomb inside the bubble, not managing to connect with anyone. Only able to DMAC Fink. Filthy Elf here with a Fire Strike, managed to connect on Venom. Shredix doing work on Filthy Elf. Poking the choke here with Frosty Heart. He is low. He is going to get that healing that he does need. We've got a skirmish up between Zephyr and Shredix. Zephyr taking the lead against him. Astra here. Just taking that Tesla cannon from Frosty. Does manage to take him out, Zephyr. Blur here making Astra. Correction, Zephyr. I think managing to take down Astra.
So it looks like MAWF Black have successfully won that a little bit. Filthy F got caught out here. He's probably going to die. He should die here. He misses the charge. It's really unfortunate. Yeah, the Dragon Blade to zone him off. The EMP goes off and beat as well.
Denix, they're working magic with that stun, managing to punish Frosty Heart as soon as he leaps their backline by a grenade being thrown on their teammates rather than enemies. Sound barrier coming down. Nessie going far behind enemy Lions with no one to go with him. Diva Bombs trading over the top. One doesn't catch any, neither does the other one. Blur manages to jump in with no team behind him. Earth Shadow coming down. Kairi managing to take Shredux out of the sky, sweating him down. This is going to be a big team fight here. Frosty Heart with the biotic nade on him. Anti-heal. He's going to be taken down. It looks like Cascade here. Going to be hold this in overtime. Taking Rialto.
It's actually very interesting. Watching Zephyr play, he definitely, early on, he definitely realized that he needed to play a little bit more Peel style. And then that worked, especially the Brig swap. I think they were Brig actually the whole thing. But Shrews was having some difficulty getting blades off once Denex found the rhythm and the playstyle of Brig, slowing the Dragon Blade a bit down. And I think I'm quite surprised. I don't know about you, but I think Van Ham has especially been playing well. Definitely someone I haven't really heard of until now. But he's been fragging at times and getting some crucial picks, especially on the Lucio. Beginning of that third point there, and his transfers have been pretty crisp and accurate. Like Filthy F has been struggling to get those shadows off.
I was going to say Venom there with the Transcendence really keeping his team alive and taking that support. Doing an excellent job.
Yeah, I think I think the support ults compared to Cascade and MAWF Black have been used vastly different. I think there are a couple occasions where I think it was in that Nazi and Van Ham, they used beat a little bit too early and they had to use 2 support ults for their Dragon Blade. So they just needed to tidy up a little bit of their ult usage, and I think they can go a long way into winning team fights and probably shutting down those four ultimates to one support team fights and create a balance and hopefully restore and neutralize a lot of the enemy ults.
I think there as well, unfortunately for Morph Black with that disconnect, I don't know how that would have impacted the rest of the game. They might have just got it to the end if they didn't have that stagger there. But it certainly seems like both teams were doing a good job very close towards the end. On that first point there in Rialto, Filthy Elf, he seemed unfortunate with that Earth Shatter. If he made that connect, that could have been a good hold there for Cascade. They only had about 45 seconds left on the clock and they might have been able to hold it. But nevertheless, they did manage to take this one out.
I think what Morph Black should be working on going forward in this match is definitely, you've got Blur and Shrewds being very proactive in the back line, but I think, and I think I touched on it before, Frosty Heart and Fink need to be a little bit more aggressive and punish, Cascade paying a lot of respect to those two DPS players. Just to further support them, because on many occasions Blur has to use a couple more blinks and Shrewds has to is caught out using dash too early, and therefore they're dying in circumstances where they shouldn't be. So I think, and this is where maybe a D.Va instead of a Hammond probably would be beneficial, just to give it a bit of an insurance for them. But Kyra is doing very well on Cascade, being aware of what they're doing and the team compositions and saving sleep and nade, and using it for when he or she is most threatened. But I'm very surprised, like I said, of Van Ham. He's been performing really well. I'm saying so repetitive here, but I just can't stop speaking about getting the picks that he needs to. And popping off at times and really changing team fights. I think, what separates a good Zenyatta from a great Zenyatta is the ability to change fights when they're still in the balance. Can we win this? Can we lose this? I think Van Ham definitely helped Morph Black decide a lot of those fights in their favor.
And it's going to be interesting here. One for all. I wonder what the next map in their choice is going to be. We do have the choice of Temple of Anubis or Lunar Colony. So we'll have to see what Morph Black opts for.
I think Temple of Anubis is definitely going to suit the Sombra play style that I think, was it Morph Black? I think a Blur ran it a couple of times. I think it's going to suit their play style a little bit because the way they've been setting up structurally. And Cascade have definitely got that brawl kind of that style to it. I think it's going to be very interesting. If they both run Sombras, I think it's going to be the tale of who can get and utilize their Sombra better.
I think at this time, I think it could be anyone's game as we go into map 3. They've both been performing where they need to. A few hiccups by both sides, but at this point, I'm really undecisive as who can take this one out. But Morph Black doing really good work by Blur. If he can keep up the consistency, they might just have the edge to take over Cascade.
Yeah, so we've still got about a minute and a half go here. So what do you think about or how would you? I know this is not relevant, but if you were playing in a comp game, how would you play Temple of Anubis? How would you coordinate? If you were like the leader of the team, what would you coordinate? How would you approach it?
I couldn't tell you. If I was on attack, I'd probably just go full dive composition. I think if you can play that right, it certainly seems what Frosty Heart, it certainly would suit Morph Black's playstyle with that Tracer and with that Winston. I think as well on the D.Va. I think they'll be opting for somewhat of a dive composition, at least on that first point to take. Always with Temple of Anubis, that second point though, it might result in a draw. Draw Anubis, as it's known. It wouldn't surprise me if that came out. Both teams playing extremely well.
Yeah, you touched on Morph Black being more suited to dive. I think they need to be a little bit more careful, and this map especially if they want to run dive and force it, is Cascade's ability to go that Orisa Hog D.Va composition, which is very possible. I think Morph Black need to be careful of falling into that trap of just diving the front line, and not being able to penetrate the front line, and they need to get really deep and they just set up correctly. I think a lot of the quote-unquote weaker teams fail to adapt to this. So I think it's going to be interesting if Cascade does run out on defense with a composition like that, how Morph Black adapts.
Now entering the Temple of Anubis.
Well, here we go. On to map number 3 for the AOE Rise Up Invitational, to the sandy and dusty location of Temple of Anubis. Seems like Morph Black here are going to be on the attack for the first round.
Looks like Goat's composition here. Pretty standard.
We've seen this a couple of times. We saw it being pulled out yesterday and working wonders.
Goats is very hard to shut down the teams that aren't prepared for it. What you need to do is you need to, Goats is very strong in just going one direction and shutting that player down. I think what Morph Black need to do is they need to be proactive and they'll be like, okay, they're running Goats. Let's surround them. Let's take multiple angles and let's abuse the fact that they can't, just charge at one player because they're going to have to respect all angles. And definitely the high ground is going to be very important here for Morph Black. But I think Blow on Junkrat's a very good option here because he's going to do a lot more damage than a Tracer against the Goat's composition.
Especially when he doesn't need to be in the line of sight. Shrewd's here, opting for that Widowmaker. Let's see if we can get some magic and take a pick. We saw that we did have a Widowmaker for Cascade, but they decided to opt back. 5 seconds till the gates drop. Let's see what kind of magic they can work.
So we got Cascade coming out now. Astra was toying us with the symmetric pick, now he's going back to Lucio. We can see it's there. I think they're trying to push main, but I think they've notified the Junkrat there. But they're still persistent on this.
Seems like they're holding the high ground very well. Van Ham up there, uncontested as well, swapping back and down. Filthy Elf, manning take out Shrewds with his hammer. Fink, Frosty Heart going back up top. Zephyr joining them. Seems like they got the first tick here. Morph Black not dropping down. Shrewd swapping out for a Doomfist. Blur demaking Zephyr. Frosty Heart with that Discord working magic. He jumps away, leaps out of the way of that pin. Dodging it, saying not today. Van Ham managing to take down Filthy Elf. Getting back in that mech. This could be Cascade's first point if they play it right here. They are holding up their high ground. Fink dropping the D-Mac on top. Blow with Riptide managing to take out 2. Insane. Cascade here being driven back here. Van Ham almost taking out that Lucio, but not enough.
Cascade seemed very confused there. I talked about multiple angles, and that's what Morph Black just did. And that's why the fight was prolonged, because they couldn't identify one player to go at. Their rotation was very good. But now we've got a composition switch up. So we've got Zetsu on the Pharah instead of Zarya. Let's see how much that will change the outcome.
With Shrewds and Blur no hit scan their DPS plays, this could be deadly. Cascade learning their mistakes from last round, taking the higher ground off them. Rusty Heart jumping up, Transcendence coming down from Van Ham, keeping his team healed, no one's fallen yet. Meteor Strike coming down, Filthy Elf not connecting at Earth Shadow, Diva Bomb not connecting either, Fire Strike onto Blur, Shredix Meteor Strike catching Astra, Nezu getting resurrected onto Blur. That Fire Strike from Filthy Elf onto Shoots, taking him down. Morph Black, they could have to clean up here. Filthy Elf in that back room by himself. Charges, hits Fink. Doesn't take anyone out. Fink saying not today. Staggering him back to his wound.
Filthy Elf has been struggling with his Earth Shatters for majority of the match. He's not able to get those clutch shatters off. He's only getting one in it. So I think that's an area that if he improved on, especially in this match, I think fights are going to be a lot cleaner for Cascade.
Zed Zol here, still having a superiority already. Rusty Heart behind him, see if he can kill Kairu.
Frosty.
To take him down, chilling there with that Discord brought by Van Ham. Shrewds trying to take out Zed Zol, sweat him out the sky. Sound barrier coming down. Filthy Elf catching Shrewd's Zeedle, getting Frosty Heart. This could look bad here for Morph Black. Cascade here working their way onto point. That contention, they're so close to getting that second tick. They haven't locked it in. Blur cleaning up Zetzel, swatting him out of the start. And Dennis getting a third for Astra. Morph Black managing to hold on this. I stand corrected, a fourth. Seems like that Junkrat pick is really paying off for them.
Yeah, that's something that a Junkrat can do very well. Is if a team fight is about to be lost, there's that burst damage from a mine and those little throwy things, C4, I don't know what you call them, forgot. But that can really cause a lot of damage and can catch a lot of players off guard, which is what
3 ultimates here for Morph Black with Cascade only with that Earth Shatter Night off. If he plays it well.
He did get it off.
Shatter, doesn't get it off. Blur punishing him for it. This could be devastating here for Cascade. Morph Black just working their way through their backline. Shrews knocking up Astra. He can't connect the fist. Doesn't take him down. Pyro getting that res onto Filthy Earth, but he does not have his Earth Shatter. Managing to pin Frosty hard up against the wall. Frosty hard living in the sky. Midi Strike coming down. Not connecting. Fink taking out Zedzal. Knocking up Zephyr. See if they can work it here. Danix with that stun on the Nessie. Managing to knock him down. Diva Bomb coming out of point. Ripped higher from Blur. Taking out Astra. Frosty Heart killing Filthy Earth with that Tesla cannon. Kyrie here also being chased around by Frosty Heart. And Shrewd punishing Zephyr with a fist to the face. Dennis here looks like it might be staggered.
The tanks, Frosty and Fink are doing a lot of work here. They're doing their tank rotations very good.
Zetsar with the Rocket Barrage main take Shrewd's Frosty Heart. It seems like Cascade pouring back onto the point. They may be able to take this off the hands of Morph Black and roll on down to the second point. Frosty Heart retreating back, jumping to safety to the rest of his team.
Kairo's going to switch back to support, hopefully. He's probably going to chase just for the recontest. Yep, he's going back to armor. So he's actually still remaining on the Pharah. One day, no, he's going Sombra.
I was going to say Shrewd's recognizing that aerial superiority is a bit of a problem, and he switched to McCree to try and take him down. Ultimates here only looks like Cascade is going to have that sound barrier. Transcendence and Primal Rage coming up here for Morph Black. Let's see if they can work some magic as they slowly make their way on a point. Blur and Van Ham hiding in that back corner there. Van Ham knows that Filthy Earth can be a bit of trouble if he manages to jump on him. Skirmishers in the back line, Hacks coming down onto Shrewds. Chilling in the corner there with Nessie.
Blur is back onto his trusted Tracer here. See if he can do a lot of damage here. Look, he used the done in the previous maps.
Blur taking down Zeetzal on the Sombra and absolutely cleaning up. Shrewds here gets a flashbang and see if he can take out Zephyr here.
I think they're just going for the stagger.
Doesn't look like he can get it. Zephyr made it all the way out. I thought he would have been punished for that. Unfortunately, looks like he's close to getting his mech back and rejoining the fight.
So I think Morph Black here have got a significant ultimate advantage here. You know, EMP's not like close. And I think Filthy Earth is not going to get at this fight. So I think what's interesting if Shrewds uses High Noon here as a zone or as an offensive tool.
Van Ham playing super safe in their spawn. He
What
knows
a
that he's a target. Blur with a pulse bomb finding Astra and Curry. Their supports are down. Blur not only Zigzag BD making Zephyr with the 3k. Hopefully he can get the clean up here and make it a wonderful 4k. Absolutely stellar performance, and that's what we said that made Morph Black so deadly. Blur on his Tracer.
I think Zephyr, this is where Zephyr needs to understand that Blur is definitely doing a lot more damage than he should be doing. And I think I'd love to see Zephyr here change up his playstyle a little bit and just, you know, maybe respect Blur a little bit more than he has been.
5 out of 6 ultimates here for Morph Black, but 3 on the board here, almost 4 with that EMP. If it comes down, it could be devastating. Could counter.
Van Ham's playing very defensive. Van Ham's playing very, very defensive here. He knows that EMP is going to be online. Zetzel's trying to scout him. Zetzel's found him. EMP. Oh, he actually gets killed before he releases it. Like I said, Van Ham just clutches it out there. If the EMP goes off there, who knows?
Zeetzal falling to Van Ham. Like you said before, Van Ham not only keeping his team alive, but catching anyone out of place with that Discord and a nice orb to the face. 60 seconds on the clock. This is going to be an explosive team fight here from both sides. A lot of ultimates on the board. Let's just hope they pace them right.
Yeah, this is where Transcendence and Beat for Astra and Van Ham respectively is going to be huge. They have the potential to shut down a lot of ults. Van Ham's got caught off out of position, but is backing out to spawn. Very mature. We have Beat, a very early Beat and a Dragon Blade coming out. We have
Dragon Blade over the top. Not finding anyone. Shrewd's catching him out with the Deadeye. Flashbang from Shrewd's again onto Zizal. Catching two. MAWF Black could hold on to this. 20 seconds on the clock. Blood here just punishing that Winston with that dit squad from Van Ham. Chunking him down. Looks like in the backline we have Zephyr here. Let's see if they can work the way on a point and get the support. But it looks like Shrewd's, Blur and Van Ham just enveloping him from the backline. Zephyr here by himself being demacked. And looks like he's going to fall here. That Tesla cannon cleaning up. Denix can't reflect that. Primal Rage coming out, trying to keep them back on spawn. Saying, you are not coming onto my second point there. From Frosty Heart. Excellent hold there.
Yeah, it seems that everyone pressed Q, without much thought. I don't think, MAWF Black were, Cascade were necessarily communicating what else they should use in conditional fights, but I think that last fight pretty much dictates how this match has been playing out. It's very, very scrappy, and I think that might suit how MAWF Black want to play. But yeah, I think one team can definitely get the edge of the other if they clean up their ult usage a little bit more.
Definitely 1-1 here as we go into the second half on Temple of Anubis. Everyone getting ready, working their way onto first point. Looks like we're going to have Van Ham sticking to what he loves, as well as Blow with that Tracer. Shoots with a Tourbillon, but I don't think that's going to be his definitive pick. Cascade, Filthy Elf, going with the Winston instead of the Reinhardt, which we've seen most of these maps. Hopefully this can work for them well. It would be punishing for Blur.
See, it's hopefully. I really want to see a Symmetra here. I want to see Symmetra being used in a tournament situation, coming out with creative pushes and pushing that high ground and stuff. It'd be very interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's how you win all of your comp games, Joel, with a Symmetra and Tourbillon on Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I totally don't insta-lock Genji and try and win off that and still lose. So I wonder why. But now here we standard dive here.
MAWF Black here. I thought Blow was going to stay with that Tracer, but got the Widowmaker. Zizal could be spotted out of the sky if he's caught off guard here. So look as they're pushing here. Zizal just chilling up there, waiting for them to come around the corner, trying to find those squishy supports. MAWF Black come around the corner, going for the flank. Van Ham, as well as Nezzy, chilling. Filthy Elf jumping up top, being contested. Frosty Heart jumping back up there as well. Bit of backwards and forwards here, no definitive plays. Seems like MAWF Black hesitating to go in and commit to this fight.
Cascade not utilizing the mass space that they can be controlling with their dive. They're very lucky that once they use their movement abilities, they weren't punished. But it looks like Fink was lucky to get away there.
Zizal behind enemy lines, trying to get that pick onto Blair, taken down by Frosty Heart. Fink finding Karu, Frosty Heart, Shredix slicing and dicing Denix. But Denix is taking out Van Ham. It looks like MAWF Black is going to be taking this first point with a lot more ease than it took Cascade to take it. Ticking away, they're going to get some extra time on the clock to take this second point. The wall's coming down here from Blur. Let's see who we can find.
That's a very comfortable push there. I think Shrewd's almost close to Blade. Their support ults, they're quite a far away. Astro 36%, Karu 80%. Shrewds can definitely
could be deadly with Shrewds building up that blade.
Definitely, you can look at the two Zenyatta ultimates. Very different.
All the teams converging on here on the health pack. Shrewd slicing Zetzel, pulling out the blade. Here we go. Let's see if we can work some magic. Takes down Astra. Fink on Filthy Elf. Frosty Heart just cleaning up the rest of the team. And this looks like with that proper stagger, they can take this
So-
with relative ease.
That was a steamroll, and I think it's very hard to withstand a steam like that. You don't really have much else to work with, especially when you're up against a Dragon Blade without a support ult. And I think Van Ham was about 50% more in his trance than the others. So I think that's definitely where Cascade fell in that little push there. I think they weren't set up correctly. They weren't utilizing the map space. And I think they weren't allowing the Zenyatta to play, the angles. And I think
MAWF Black, they're really playing their cards well onto that first point. We saw Van Ham and Nezzy really playing it safe, being cautious. They knew they couldn't engage, so they went back, regrouped, and they really just caught who they could out of position, dived on the point, and just the synergy there from it. Van Ham, like we've said all game, is playing his cards right and his positioning as well, being real hard to be caught off guard. All right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Up Invitational. And we have a final map in this set between MAWF Black and Cascade, and they have fought tooth and nail thus far, with MAWF taking Lijiang Tower and Rialto, as well as Anubis falling to Cascade. So it's up to MAWF Black to put a cap on things. My name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and I do have a right-hand man. His name is Flex. You have seen a lot more of this set than I have. Paint a picture for those watching along.
I certainly have. It looks like we're going to have Team Scones here on King's Row. MAWF Black last on Temple of Anubis, taking giving Cascade there a bit of a hammering, really rolling there on that second point there. Cascade not knowing what to do, but it is 2-1 at the moment, so it still is anyone's game. So let's see if they can pull it together and make it a 2-2 on this fourth and final map.
And that will be the first set in this Rise Up Invitational that has gone to extras. And that will be quite the spectacle, I would assume. We're running down to 5 seconds. The gates are going to drop, and everything's locked in place for MAWF Black. They're running the 2-2 setup, the 2-2 and 2 setup, especially with Van Ham on the Zenyatta. Keep an eye out on him. And it looks like the side of Cascade are just trying to perhaps throw the wool over their eyes and have a bit of a throwback to a strat that we might have seen in Overwatch League. We'll have to wait and see, as they're just about to approach the gate, the main choke, and Cascade begin their first advance.
Cascade playing really hesitantly, falling back there. They're unsure of what they're doing. I think they're a little bit spooked at how spread out MAWF Black is here.
And not seeing any bodies, that's really not going to help things. They're trying to really wrap around and throw the wool over everyone, but it looks like the Ana of Nezi has definitely sniffed something out, throwing the Bionade and making everybody aware. So they're playing a little bit of ring around the rosy, and now they're moving up top as a unit. Given how spread out the opposition of MAWF Black are, they might either get a win or get completely crushed. And there was an early skirmish there, and they're looking to back off and take it to the top above the point. And goodness me, look at all the chaos. Kairu will take out the healer counterpart, and Shroods will pay one back in full. And all the waiting in the world, it may have been worth it for Cascade, as they've taken 2 down. The defense is completely weakened, and at this point will slowly tip over to Cascade.
Cascade, unbelievable. I thought they were going to go straight in. They were hesitant, running all the way around behind the back lines. They missed that opportunity there to take out Fink inside that, but they all went for a rumble up in the hotel rooms and did manage to come out victorious. Going ahead as this payload comes up, Filthy Elf pushing forward, scouting, seeing what they've got. Shroods here with their Doomfist hiding around the corner, seeing if he can work some magic. Filthy Elf here building up to that Earth Shatter, and Kairu with Coalescence, and that rally. Seems like they are going to be able to steamroll ahead as MAWF Black work their way up onto the high ground and chill on the balcony.
Well, that's pretty much the aim of the game. The rally call to arms has been called by Dex. That means there's going to be extra armor, but that's going to be negated by the EMP that's been thrown out. There goes the mines, and goodness gracious!
What?
Fink and Venom just wipe Cascade off the face of the earth, Flex.
What an absolute combination of decimation. Blur there, only using his EMP as well as Fink with that minefield, just laying waste to Cascade. They were caught off guard there by that EMP. They seemed quite confident rolling down the alley, not seeing anybody. Cascade here squatting back up for correction, almost 5 ults for Cascade here. So the combination of that Graviton Surge, catching off guard here by MAWF Black. That bionic grenade coming down, really denying that healing there for Cascade.
Frosty Heart's been amped up, did get the nano boost, and now this entire push by Cascade has been put into full disarray thanks to a very angry ape with a very high potency of a lightning gun, and Nezi on the Ana. That was a nano boost there. We're running down to 3 minutes. And aside from that first attack by Cascade, they've been awfully quiet.
A more valiant effort there, but Filthy Elf Didn't get Frosty Heart with that Earth Shadow, failed to connect. I think that bubble saved him from impending doom. Up top here, more Black hiding. Shrewds as well as Fink in the backline. I think they're going to jump on them again, really unsuspectingly coming out of these alleys.
There definitely are. There's a lot of hidey holes, especially along the high ground and in amongst the back streets. Do not go there. It's a lot like real life. Blur will put a rocket to Astra, and that's definitely taken one of the healers down. The Graviton does come in, and there goes the self-destruct, but it is all for, well, a little bit just for theatrics, in my opinion, as this payload once again is stunned. It's in a bit of a rough spot here.
Like we said consistently, Van Ham able to peel for his team. There's Transcendence just coming out in the nick of time, playing textbook, even for that Graviton surge. Not managing to connect and get a couple members of MAWF Black, but they didn't have the follow-up to go with it. Blur here, building up on that rocket brush. If they keep playing in these sneaky alleyways, he might be able to catch them off guard and just get a rocket brush onto most of the members. With no hit scan here from Cascade, Denix is going to be relied on to try and swat Blur out of the sky.
And Kairu has sent Moira out of the fray, thinks it's not worth it, does go back to the Mercy, so that will change the style of approach. And that's pulled off so far with Zetzel taking out Shrewds, and there goes the justice from Blur, but that was swiftly dealt with. And this is Cascade's best chance. There is only Hammond on the point. He is slowly trying to retreat, and the Winston's popped up from the side street and will get a sonic arrow right to them from the hand of Denix. And this might not get to the Foundry Flex, but it will get awfully close. It'll be up to MAWF Black to make the choice, and it looks like the choice has been made. They're not going to recontest. They will have 2 minutes and 30 to get it deep into the Foundry and finish out the map to the members of Cascade.
Able to roll it in there with no troubles there. That was much better by Cascade there. They really got their stuff together, and catching their tank off guard there on that stairwell, punishing him for his positioning. And they're going to roll in here. We've got Frosty Heart here with the Primal Wedge. Filthy Elf with the Earth Shadow. Hopefully you can connect it and get some targets here. Diving the backline, Shrewd with that Doomfist. Knocking up. Rocket Barrage coming down. Being direct impact by Blur. Punishing Zol for staying still. Here comes the Primal Reg onto the backline. Fink dropping down. Not getting pinned. Fortunately by Filthy Elf. This next fight here, we're going to have the Valkyrie as well as the Earth Shadow here coming in for Cascade. If Fink plays his cards right, this minefield could be a bit of a problem for them, especially if he drops down onto that Hanzo and Astra playing Zenyatta.
If things do plan out, given it is such a tight place where the card has to go, there goes Karu in the Valkyrie position trying to keep the team up, and Adam. But keep an eye on both Filthy Elf and Denx. They do have the Dragon Strike. Well, one of them's taken off the table. Denx just let it rip. And has deleted Venom from the server and did get his comeuppance at the hands of Blur, and Shrewds will take out the Farah of Zetzel. And Kairu has been taken off of the table. And in amongst that flurry, the team of MAWF Black are going to hold strong. And now we are down to 1 hot minute for Cascade to finish out this map, and they're in a little bit of disarray, but they can do it with what's on offer.
This is going to be extremely close. Like I said before, Denix there, he's really being depended on to stop Blur from just raining that justice down from above, and he's not being contested even with the Discord from Astra. He's still just having free reign over this Foundry. Van Ham here with his Transcendence. Like he has previously in these games, if he pulls it off, he's going to keep his whole team alive as they jump into the backline. Frosty Heart here, building up his Primal Rage. Playing very passive here by Cascade. They know how dangerous Blur can be. See, raining that justice down, being uncontested there. Just picking off their squishies. Cascade here, taking out Blur. MAWF Black 2 here down. This could be dangerous.
Extremely so. Van Hammer has pulled out the Transcendence. It may be considered a little bit late. Fink has been hacked as although, and almost getting ejected from the back, and there he goes. It's down to the final countdown, and there goes the Earth Shatter from Filthy Elf. Letting the hammer just go. Hell bet for leather, but there is a jewel still on the payload. It is only Shrewds left standing, and Nezzy has come in to try to thin the tide. All they have to do is push them back, and this is their last stand. Shrewd and Nezzy are trying to get them to hang on. as the reinforcements for Cascade do come in, and the Fink is on the ham, and ever still, we will expect him to try and latch onto the payload and defend it with his ball and chain. And goodness me, this fight is not going to stop.
He does have his rocket barrage. It could be a cleaner for them if they're caught off guard, if Filthy Elf turns that shield. Dragon Strike coming down. Zephyr behind enemy lines. Van Ham getting hacked by Zetal. Sorry.
Power lessons from Kairu, and Fink is the only person now to reply. Is all that is left of the defense, and is just trying to roll around at the speed of sound and has knocked them away. So that is not an official finish for the map from Cascade, but you may as well call it that given how far the attackers got.
Cascade, that was so close there. I saw an extremely clever play there by, I think it was Zetal on the Sombra. He was going head to head with Blur on that Farah, using that translocator just to pop up behind and say hello and just swat them out of the sky, which is a really clever play there. I was paying attention to that. I thought that was really good work here. Now swapping sides here, Zetal opting for that Widowmaker. Let's see if he can make it work. Karu going for the Ana Astra with the Lucio. Zephyr sticking to what he knows on Diva. Filthy Elf, we haven't seen this before. We haven't seen the Orisa. Let's see if they stick to it.
Be behind a bunch of shields. Zetzel could be the X factor along with Denks because of how potent a sharp Widow can be. We have seen that time and again in the past. And we're running down to 45 seconds, and this is pretty much par for the course, I would feel, from MAWF. Black Shroods is on the Doomfist. Maybe just really trying to amp the aggression up and catch this traditionally static defense a little bit unawares.
Interesting pick here from Denix with the Junkrat. If he catches him off in those hotels or those dark alleys, he could get a lot of damage there. Maybe find a cheeky pick onto Van Ham or Nessie. I think he did wonders last round with that Hammond, dropping that minefield right on the members of Cascade, just denying them any sort of ground as well. Clustered up on the top balcony here, Cascade, as we go into the final map on King's Road. Let's see what MAWF Black can bring to the table.
The gates have dropped, and this is the potential final map. We still are at a 2-1 scoreline, with a potential tie if MAWF Black finishes this map outright. Fink might have showed his presence up on the high ground here. They're gathered a little bit further back, but there is still engagements on the point proper towards the statue, and they might not have. They definitely have caught out Blood now and got absolutely destroyed in a team effort. Nastra will get credit for the frag, so that's some play a little bit of a bust, and they're gonna have to recoil and wait for them to return.
Blur was behind enemy lines, caught out before he got down to half health, so it was an easy picking there for Cascade. It might be a little difficult here for MAWF Black to take out Zetal, especially when Doomfist Shroods can't get up there to contest him. So Blur going in for a second time behind enemy lines. Let's see if he doesn't get caught. Hopefully get a hack off here. It would be good if he can get it down on Filthy Elf so they don't have that shield up. Frink missing the slam down, landing up top as they skirmish up top in the hotel.
There it goes, and Shroods will put a fist right through Zetzel's face. You're going to need reconstructive surgery for that. And this skirmish will try to force them down onto the ground. Fink will pull a pile driver that I think most wrestlers from the 90s will be proud of. That will knock everybody off of the map. That will force Cascade to regroup. And this point to be seized by MAWF Black with just under 5 minutes remaining.
Oh, it's a blessing in disguise there. Cascade group together, playing it well, but Fink just dropping on top of them, just popping in. How you going? Getting a nice double kill there. Blur just behind enemy lines again. And then we also have Shroods chilling in here. Let's see if we can get a fist onto somebody. Knocks them up. Let's see if we can get a follow-up. Is punished by Zetal for going a little too far. Going for that big health pack. Hopefully he can get out of there alive.
Definitely be thankful for Blur for hacking the health pack, cooling down the timer for that. And that's definitely made them a little bit scared on the side of Cascade. There goes the Riptire from Dex. Let's see if it will get anything. It's going down the side street, as a matter of fact. And it's still ripping. You can hear the sound churning away.
So anticipating doesn't manage to connect with anyone. Frosty Heart, that biotic grenade denying healing, allowing him to be taken down. Zizo really has the positioning on that high ground back there to clean up, but is it going to be enough?
It may not be, especially given the current position of the minefield. It's definitely going to give them a little bit of free space towards the Foundry. They're starting to close the gap and stretch the spawns out even further, with Kairu being taken out of the equation by Blur and forcing the entire red team back. Aside from 3 that are on the payload, they're moving extremely aggressively to give this card as much space as possible and basically uncontested. 5 minutes flat are in the time bank. And if you're MAWF Black, you would have to be feeling extremely confident that there is a map 5 in the future that will just have to close things out.
I keep getting concerned here for Shroods and Fink when he gets that far behind enemy lines, but he just knocks him up and Fink knocks him straight back down, usually cleaning them up. Transcendence coming out here from Van Ham, keeping his team alive. Diva Bomb coming with the top. Let's see if we can catch him out.
I'm on the payload and moving out.
Just what I
That's all good. Let's see Cascade falling back here, being pushed back to their spawn. Shroods and the rest of the team gathering up for this final fight. EMP being built up here by Blur. Astra for Cascade only with that sound barrier. Let's hope they can hold on just long enough. But with 4 minutes to go, I don't think it's looking too good here for Cascade.
Definitely not with Zetzel being taken out of the sky. That is a heavy hitter off of the battlefield for the foreseeable future. And Shroods and Blur are thinning things out even further. No healers are on deck now. And there goes the EMP. There is going to be nothing working now. You're going to have to tap it. And Dex is trying to square the ledger, taking out Frosty Heart. There is a tank off of it. And it is back and forth. But Shroods is really wanting to stake a claim with his giant right hand.
He's going for a cleanup here, but I think Cascade, if they play their cards right, they might be able to contest. Not seeing any stall picks here that may or anything coming out. That's what you'd expect to see at this point with 3 minutes left. Frosty Heart uncontested, just chipping away at those 2 healers. Sound barrier coming down from Nezzy, managing to clean up. Just trickling onto the point here from Cascade. Diva Bomb coming up, but they're not on the contest. Oh my god, Zephyr almost throwing himself off there, but it's not going to be enough. MAWF Black coming on and closing up this match.
Indeed, I was being an absolute tease and saying that there was going to be a 5th map, but that is not the case. This series will end in a draw 2-2. The GGs are indeed called, and it was definitely a GG, and as you see from the Hammond of Fink, he'd be my pick for the player of the game, beyond a doubt. Just showing the strength of a relatively new hero that can really spin things around and spice things up.
That synergy there from Shroods and Fink behind enemy lines. He just pick someone, knock them up, and then Fink will just calm down, slam him, and just clean up as well. Really good work by MAWF Black there, really picking their targets, their positioning as well. We saw it in those back alley streets when Cascade were initially on the assault there. They just kept jumping them in the alley, managing to catch them out and just clean them up.
And that is the downside of tight corridors. If you're all bunched up like that and you are not prepared and you get jumped, you are going to pay dearly. But that will conclude our first set of the evening. MAWF Black and Cascade will split the series 2-2. And
excellent work there. I think coming up next on the AOE Invitational, we have Twisted Vision. They did a ripper last night, uncontested. They haven't been defeated yet. Coming up against Dignity. So that's coming up next. I wonder how they will go.
Indeed, I actually saw the members of Twisted Vision firsthand last night, along with Dreamboat and Phoenix, and we got treated by Twisted Vision. So I'm looking forward to how they will basically show their wares against new opponents, and that will happen at 8:30, which is very, very shortly. And we thank you all for joining us for the second match night of the Rise Up Invitational. And Flix, we've been in for a treat for these previous 2 days, and it's only the start of something amazing.
Absolutely intense, some real skill and real outstanding performance coming in from these Australian teams. Been on the edge of my seat for a lot of these games. It's been extremely intense. I'm sweating bullets at some points as well.
I hope you're hydrated. I really hope Stay Hydrated Bot actually shows up and reminds us to bless ourselves with the presence of water. And it's also a good tip for the aspiring casters and public speakers. Drink plenty of water. See, edutainment, we specialize in that as well. And that will be where we will wrap things up. And we will return in a few minutes' time with our second matchup. Do not go anywhere. You're watching the Rise Up Invitational. We thank you for your company.